I have the EVO back in the garage. Time to start taping this thing off and wet sanding. So the things that I'm going to work on are essentially going to be passenger side, driver side, roof, and back bumper. Gonna do the hood as well, but I'm not gonna do the front bumper, mainly because the front bumper actually came out pretty good. I'm probably gonna just do the top section of the front bumper. But as far as for the rest of the car, the whole rest of the car is gonna get re-clear coated. So that way, hopefully we can get it looking good this time. But yeah, let's go ahead and start masking this thing off and laying down and sanding it down. The entire car is masked back off again. I'm not going as deep in the prep work this go around, mainly because we're just laying down clear coat. The only thing I'm probably gonna do from here is probably tape off the side skirt extensions, just because they're originally black. But I mean, I might just lay clear over those too. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, the entire car is taped off. We have the wheels blocked off. I didn't want to remove these just because they're a pain in the butt to get off. But yeah, we have those taped off. Basically, we're ready to start sanding. So my plan is, I already sanded down the passenger side and buffed it. So there's not a whole lot of clear left on this side. So I can't take this on very aggressively, or else I might actually just burn to the paint. So this side, I'm probably gonna hit it with 1500 grit, maybe even 2000 grit, just to get it to, you know, flatten down again. The rest of the car though, we're probably gonna hit with 1000 grit, if not maybe even 800 grit. So I'm gonna be very careful around the edges. Essentially, I'm gonna avoid every single edge and then wet sand them when it comes time to do them. But yeah, basically from here, we're just gonna go ahead and start sanding. And it doesn't require a lot. I just need to basically scuff it up nicely, and then we'll be able to start laying down our clear. So my goal is, let's see, it's currently midnight, 11:51. If we can have this done by 3 a.m., that will be ideal. I don't really want to spend more than an hour sanding the entire car, and I don't really want to spend more than an hour laying down the clear coat. Basically from here, all we gotta do is just sand and clear. So I just want to get that done, so that way the car can basically cure overnight. I'm actually going to light my propane heater in the garage too and let the entire car heat up overnight. We covered the front bumper because I don't want any overspray on that. The front bumper actually came out half decent. Like, it's really not that bad, but that's because the front bumper has so many contouring shapes, and honestly with the canards and the front lip, you don't really see as much anyway because it covers a whole lot of the front bumper. So the only part that's really not the greatest is the very top of the front bumper. But if I'm gonna re-clear just the top of the front bumper, then you're gonna see a hard line once we pull the tape off. So I just went ahead and figured I'll just wet sand and buff just the top of the front bumper, and that should be enough to make it match the rest of the car. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do the whole front bumper because that would take me just an hour alone to disassemble. And honestly, the front bumper is pretty fine. Like, you really don't see much of the issues with the front bumper. The hood itself too, the hood itself is really not that bad either, but I want it all to be even. Essentially, when you add another layer of clear coat, there could be a slight color difference. So I figured, since the bumper you can't really see a whole lot, I want at least the whole rest of the car to match. But the main one I'm going to focus on, I'm probably going to start is on the roof of the car, just because that one's so bad. We're probably going to tackle that one with 800 grit right away, and then maybe move up to 1000, and then the roof will be ready. But yeah, that's kind of where we're going to start. Sorry, the garage is an absolute mess. I haven't had the time to even clean the garage from the original paint job. And on top of that, we've had to do some work on some of the other cars. My roommate, his car is having some overheating issues, so I have a bunch of coolant stuff over there. But yeah, that's gonna be a whole nother day's problem. To ensure we don't have the same issues we had last time with the Harbor Freight paint gun, I actually went ahead and bought this Aero Pro. It's the RT610 or something like that. I watched a bunch of reviews, and a lot of people actually say that this is a really good paint gun for the money. This is one of the more expensive paint guns I've bought. Most of the paint guns I buy, I usually spend around $40, maybe $50 on, and I think that's probably why the issues I kept having them. I got this one on sale for I think it was $80. Again, still a cheapo paint gun, but from everything I've seen, it's actually really good. I eventually will want to upgrade to like an actual like professional paint gun, but those are like $700, and I don't do anywhere near the amount of paint jobs enough to justify that kind of money. So for now, these little, you know, $70, $80 ones, they're just gonna have to work. And you know, if I can get 5 paint jobs out of them, that's fine with me. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start sanding. Another thing I'm gonna take advantage of while I'm here is the tail lights on the S2000 need to be re-cleared. So I'm probably gonna pull those off too, and we'll sand those and re-clear them as well. But yeah, from here, I guess we just gotta get started. I'm kind of avoiding it because I don't want to do it, but it has to be done. So let's get to it. The whole thing is sanded back down. We went ahead and took a risk. So far, it looks like I didn't really get any burn through, which I'm really excited about. But we sanded the whole thing down with 400 grit, which is terrifying. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's absolutely terrifying. But I needed to get through a lot of this orange peel, and you can still see some of it coming through, but I'm not gonna hammer down on it, mainly because the last thing I want to do is burn through this paint, especially when I'm all out of reducers. So regardless, this car needs to be done by tomorrow morning. So that's why we kind of just, well, went at it the way we did. But yeah, the whole thing sanded down with 400 grit. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it down, and if there's any burn through spots, I'm just gonna touch it up with a little paintbrush, and from there we'll let that dry for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna start mixing clear coat, and then it's time to lay down clear on this thing again. I'm really hoping I didn't just mess this thing up and made it worse than it was. But there's only one way to find out. I still have half a gallon of clear coat, so I'm not gonna be shooting another 3 coats. I'm honestly probably just gonna do 1 really heavy coat. And if I can get to 2 coats, that'd be ideal. But yeah, regardless, like I'm really just hoping that I didn't mess this up. So we're here. Let's make it better, I guess. I'm nervous, but what can we do? We just gotta keep this prepped. We're gonna go ahead and start laying down our first coat of clear. I'm really hoping this goes well. We're gonna give this a minute. We're gonna let the wax and grease remover flash off. You can kind of see it. Like, see how it's like the wet spots are starting to go away, it's starting to turn hazy again. That's the goal for basically the entire car. We want it to go back to being hazy. And then, in the meantime, while that's doing that, and just in time, we made it just right before our ideal goal. We were wanting to be done before 3 a.m. It's currently 2:30. I went ahead and laid down like 3 coats of clear. And I mean, so far, we're looking pretty good. We can see our reflection really nicely. There is still a little bit of orange peel, but I didn't sand it all out. Honestly, I just wanted reflection. I didn't care if there was a little bit of orange peel. I wasn't aiming for like a perfect show quality paint job. I don't think I can get that out of my garage. I just wanted it there to at least be gloss. In the last paint job we did, or at least the last clear coat we did, there wasn't any gloss really. It was super like faded and like oxidized almost, where you couldn't even see yourself in the reflection. But now it's looking pretty good. So let's hope that it cures this way, because last time it looked good when it was wet, but it's when it dried that it got all sorts of weird. I got a bunch of dirt in the trunk, but I'm sure we can wet sand that out. I'm not gonna push my luck, guys. I'm kind of just over it. I just want the car to be done so I can enjoy it. And honestly, it looks a lot better than it did before. Like, the fact that I can see myself, that's huge. That wasn't like that before, so really stoked about that. This side came out a lot better, but it's mainly because this is the side that we wet sanded and polished. So we already sanded out a lot of that orange peel compared to the other side where we didn't sand out as much of that orange peel. I got a little bit of a run right here in the fender. Let's see if the camera can focus on that. It's kind of hard to see. There's a little bit of a run there, and then another one right here. So, again, not pushing my luck. I'll take 2 runs over the fact that you couldn't even see yourself in the car before, so I'll take that any day. But yeah, we got the heater going. We're gonna try and heat up this garage, trying to bake this in. Hopefully this time that will make it so this paint job actually, this clear coat actually sticks better. So fingers crossed, because I don't want to do this again. If I have to do this again, I'm just sanding it down and painting it a whole different color. I'm going with a different clear. I'm not doing this anymore. So fingers crossed that this comes out good by morning. But we'll tune back in tomorrow morning when we unmask the entire car, put the bumper back on, the headlights back on, and pull it out into the sun. And hopefully, this is the last time I'll be doing this. But we'll see you guys in the morning. This is the next day. EVO's done. I put it back together, washed it and everything. I'm so glad this worked out. Now, I'm gonna preface, if you see this car in person, this is not a show quality paint job. I did it in my garage. The only real defects I'm not really happy with is there's some dirt in the clear, but eventually I'll wet sand it and buff it and it'll be done. But here it is. It's so much better now. I know that in the camera it's hard to really like do it justice, but like before it was so hazy everywhere. Now we can see a reflection basically almost anywhere that we go. You couldn't see that before. This back door is probably the worst. I didn't sand it the best. This other side actually came out almost perfect. You can see the entire, you see the house behind me just in the reflection of the car. But yeah, there's on the roof, came out a ton better. Before you couldn't even see a reflection in the roof. It was almost like a matte finish just from all the overspray and how bad the orange peel was. But yeah, now it's, yeah, a ton better. Hood came out good again. Again, we didn't do the front bumper. It wasn't that bad. Even just looking at it now, it kind of blends really well. Again, I don't think that with all the contouring of the bumper, there really wasn't a whole lot for it to orange peel up. But this is it. The EVO's finally done. At this point, I don't want to mess with it. I told myself if I'm going to redo this again, I'm repainting the entire car a whole different color. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I'm just going to rock it how it is. I'm happy with it. Even if there's a little bit of dirt in the paint, in the clear coat like that, I can fix that later. But for now, I'm just happy that it's done and that it's back. So we have a show this weekend. It's a import spring show off here it's actually in Tooele, Utah. So we're gonna be taking all 3 cars actually. So the EVO, the STI, and the S2000 as well. Couple updates on the S2000. We have a license plate now. I re-cleared the taillights. I put a rear emblem, and we finally got the antenna for it because I've been missing that. So basically, this car is complete. The only thing it really needs, and I'm not really even worried about it right now, but this fender vent right here broke while driving. So you can see right here it's missing, and yeah, I need to touch in some scratches there as well. But other than that, that's really the only thing this car's missing. I would like to eventually get the Voltex canards, the ones I was supposed to get from the guy I was talking to. Yeah, I don't know. I messaged him again like 2 days ago. He still hasn't responded, so I don't really know where we're at with that one. If we get them, we get them. If not, I'll just order some later on. But yeah, front Voltex canards, front splitter, then this car will be essentially done. EVO's done. I don't really want to mess with it anymore. I think it's just, this color is insane, especially in the sun. Especially when it, like, for example, when I darken out the filter on this camera, you can really see like how good it looks. But yeah, next thing tomorrow, I have to fix this wheel on the STI. It debeaded and it's simply because I sealed it and mounted a tire about 10 hours later. You're actually supposed to wait about 2 days before you mount a tire after you reseal them. So that's going to be the job for tomorrow, is popping that tire off, resealing that wheel, and then it'll be done. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but the lower control arm, the front lower control arm bushing on this car went bad. I went and bought a bushing from O'Reilly's that said it would fit the front lower control arm for this year STI. It was about 1 inch of circumference too small, so it like slid right in and wasn't sealing. So how we got this car to the show is I actually put a few washers on the top and on the bottom to kind of sandwich that new bushing in, and I filled the gap with a bunch of silicone. Now, I don't recommend doing that as a permanent fix, but the show we were going to was like 3 miles up the road, and we needed to get this car there. So it worked for that, but I ordered the actual whole lower control arm replacement. That'll be here on Thursday, so in 4 days from now. So once that gets here, we'll have that wheel already ready to remount back up, and we'll fix this lower control arm, and then the STI will be back. So at that point, the STI will be done, the EVO's done, the S2000 is basically done. I'm finally getting to the point where all my cars will be done, and it makes me so happy. Then from there, the next project is the truck. The front end on the truck went out again. I was driving and it started grinding. Like I started hearing like a metal on metal grinding sound, and I just did wheel bearings on it, rotors and brakes last year, and axles too. So I'm shocked that it's out again. So yeah, once we're done with the show and the STI is back up and going, I'm gonna clean the garage, get at least the EVO and the STI back in the garage, put the S2000 on the road, bring the truck in, put it up on jacks, tear the front end apart, see what's going on, and then replace whatever broke, and then we'll have the truck back. And then I think that's the first time in the last like 2 years that I can say that all my cars are done and fully operable, because for the last 2 years it's been one's down while the other one is being used, and then the other one will go down while one gets fixed, and it's like a constant back and forth. When you own multiple cars, it gets to be really draining, because if you're relying on one car, the next one may have an issue. And then when you get that one fixed, the one you've been relying on has an issue. And it's just a constant back and forth. So it gets expensive too. Like if you think about it, right? Like just the front lower control arm for the STI was $250. Now the truck needs another like $400 worth of front end parts. The EVO, it was like $500 in paint. Like, if you start adding all this stuff up over the last like month, it really adds up to be a decent amount of money, and even if it's all little fixes. So owning multiple cars is not fun sometimes, and sometimes I always think about selling them all to buy one big project car. But I enjoy having my cars. I actually want to buy one more. I feel that we need a daily for the STI, because the STI is too nice to be dailying around. So we get another car that can fit the family that we can daily around, so we can leave the EVO and STI parked and drive those only when needed. It'll be ideal. Plus, I enjoy painting cars. I enjoy learning and restoring cars. So that's kind of the next project. But other than that, the EVO's done. And yeah, this has been quite the project. I appreciate you guys for following along, but make sure to, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Give me some tips. If you guys paint cars, let me know some of the things I can do to, look out for, so I don't make mistakes again in the future. But other than that, we'll end the video here, and I'll see you guys next time.